You're tuned to Planet Vero Radio. I am Cindy Schwartz. This is the Patient Partner Show. We are broadcast on 101.7 FM Real Radio, WCZR, and it is podcast on Spreaker. Jeannie Roller's with me from Indiana. We're talking with Jeff today in Virginia again. This is the third podcast we've talked with Jeff about because these problems are serious, Jeff, that you have told us. And you are becoming, I don't want to say a veteran because it seems like a good thing, but it's not a good thing because you're still in the system. And I want you to finish up the story about what happened with that urinary catheter and the two young female nurses and the one older female nurse that were removing the catheter from your surgery and what has happened to you since then. And a lot of anesthesiologists that I've talked with say, and I'm not a doctor, that a lot of this urinary catheterization does not even have to happen with certain kind of surgeries and whatever. So I don't think any of us really as patients are even given that, that information. It's just a routine thing. Jeannie, you know that. We've piped in on that before. So go ahead, Jeff, and finish up. I mean, this is just awful to hear this ending story and what you have to live with.
Well, after, like I said the last time, after the two young girls left the room and the nurse's whole demeanor completely changed, I guess when she thought about how embarrassing it was for her, she's supposed to be training them how to be a nurse, and she blew it with the not asking my permission. And so then she got very quiet, she had a very stern, aggravated look on her face. And she just, after they walked out, she came over and just flipped my gown up to my chest, exposing me, which I was horrified and I'm humiliated. And then she just hooked the syringe, because they have to empty the fluid that they put in that balloon. Mm-hmm. She started extracting it, and I was watching her, and she pulled slowly on it, was watching it, and again, I've never had one put in or removed. Then she unhooked it, threw it off to the side, and then started pulling on that catheter, and it wasn't moving. And so something that I realized after the fact was that I had been given a abdominal nerve block. Well, that whole region was pretty much numb from the abdominal nerve block. Mm-hmm. But when she got that thing to finally break loose with a lot of force, the pain was unbelievable. Mm-hmm. And then it hung up. And then she pulled and broke it loose again and ripped and tore that hose all the way out of me with unbelievable pain. Now, when it was out, she threw it all on the tray and just walked out of the room.
Okay, and then you followed up going to a urologist, and what did that urologist tell you when you finally realized that you had all kinds of problems?
Well, he shrugged his shoulders because I went home and didn't know I had anything wrong. And 72 hours later, which is about the time I got home, and I found out that's when those nerve blocks wear off, I ended up in intense pain and didn't know what in the world happened to me because I was fine, I thought. So I went to my primary care, who shrugged his shoulders and said, you need to go to a urologist. I went to a urologist. He shrugged his shoulders, gave me some pills that my wife was aware of because she worked OB for 30 years. And she said, I know what that is. That's to try to they give it to women sometimes with UTIs because it can relieve the pain in your urethra. Mm-hmm. Still don't know what it was called, but it didn't do anything for me. And he said, take these and get another appointment, come back and see me in a couple weeks. And after that, I was still in intense pain. I was in pain for months. And then that was 2012? No, 2017, and I've never been right since.
Okay.
She did permanent damage, but here's the point was I didn't know exactly what had happened. When I got to my heart surgery and had the catheter removed, which I demanded a guy do it, not a woman, and they accommodated on that one. When he took that thing out, I watched. He took over twice this much fluid out of that balloon. And that balloon always has 10 cc's. It's sterile water and a pre-filled syringe. And I'm going, and it instantly hit me. My God, she didn't empty that balloon. And then I realized she's a trained nurse. She knew better. she was retaliating against me for me embarrassing her.
In your opinion, you think that that's what happened with you? I mean,
Yeah,
what I hear
no other-
anymore, I wouldn't put it past anyone. So we've got a couple, like 3 minutes left, Jeff.
Okay.
I want to get to the point now where you are today. So now you're facing hernia surgery. I want the listeners to know that you did not go to the exact same hospital. You have used the same surgeon for a lot of these surgeries because of his quality and how good of a surgeon he is, but you don't really have a choice of establishment that you go to because these places, these different hospitals are owned by the same conglomerate and seem to have the same OR, techniques or
Protocol.
Protocol and procedures in place, and the doctor's hands are tied. You said in the one podcast, you asked the doctor, he had no problem with you wearing your underpants, and he said, but you have to talk to the hospital. So the doctors nowadays don't even have, a lot of them,
They don't have any clout.
They don't have any clout or say over what's going on in their own surgeries. They have to go by what the conglomerate's protocol is.
Which is a shame.
Yeah.
Because the doctors, believe it or not, in whole, I think they have a lot more compassion. Some don't, but a lot of them do, but their hands are tied. It's like, do your job, and he's on an assembly line because quite often your prep's been done before he ever comes into the OR.
Oh, absolutely.
And he doesn't even stay there to sew you up.
Right.
He moves right to the next OR,
Yeah.
and the next one, and the next one.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have any say anymore. He or she. I think women doctors have it worse than men in a way. I've read so many stories, but they have no authority. They used to be the bottom line, and now they're just another cog in the wheel. Is all they are.
And a lot of this corporate healthcare. Jeannie Roller, you've been quiet. We've listened to Jeff. It's just horrendous. Your thoughts, Jeannie?
Yeah, the point I wanted to drive home is there is medical retribution when patients stand up for themselves, speak up for themselves, their rights, that sometimes a medical worker may get even with that patient by doing something like what happened to Jeff.
It's, you know what, I don't even want to believe that that's true. I really don't. I'm not doubting Jeff. I'm not doubting anything that you said, Jeff. Jeannie, neither you, but I just don't want to believe that's just horrible in that kind of situation, because it isn't personal. It's not you, Jeff, telling, Mary the nurse, listen, lady, I don't like, that. It isn't that at all. It's your own personal preference. And I don't see anything wrong with you being able as the patient to say, what you need mentally, because this is mental stuff. To be able to come out on the other side, basically same person that you are. Why is all this stuff happening? It's just crazy. When there are things in place, and they do, in my instance, in the Orlando hospital that I was at, they give you the pamphlet that says, oh, if you need anything, blah, blah, blah. Well, to me, it was just check the box so they could use it against you afterwards, because it really didn't seem like, in my opinion, that they were listening up front. It was just ammunition, if there was a problem later on. Of course, it's just my opinion, but wow, Jeff, now you're facing more surgery, and, like myself, I have to stay in the medical system. If I want to get, keep going on with the health that I have right now, I can't not see a doctor or not go to a hospital, not have tests.
Well, if you could get to a place where they would make assurances, and I would never take anything away from women, because they've lived a lot longer life of mistreatment than men have, like since about 1840. The history behind medicine has been horrible towards women. In the medical field, doctors going to medical. But all that aside, the whole system is completely overrun, where doctors have no call, no say. And you cannot, me as a patient, I can't trust them for their word, because they're not good for their word.
The establishment.
They're just trying to get through procedure A to get to procedure B, and they've got MBAs up there at the top that are saying, we need more profits, we need more volume, we need more So they're under pressure.
I'm going to cut you off there, Jeff. That's a perfect ending statement. We need more volume. We need more profit. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you telling your story. You've been listening to Planet Vero Radio. Stay tuned.
Okay.